Well, greetings, YouTube. LMS Tactical here, wishing you a happy Thanksgiving. This is probably going to be a pretty long video, so I'm just giving you a heads up. As much as I thought I could stay away from the Ferguson thing, that, I'm going to have to jump in here, but in a different way than you might expect. First, a little housekeeping. It may, at some point in this video, appear that I'm heavily intoxicated or on some kind of illegal narcotic. It's just about 4 o'clock in the morning on Thanksgiving. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, let me just back up here. I'm the guy in the family that has cooked Thanksgiving meals, I don't know, 30 years now. So, in fact, I've posted a couple of my recipes on this channel. They're really kick-ass, but it's been a tradition of mine for some stupid reason, and I can't break tradition, to stay up all night the night before Thanksgiving and get as much cooking out of the way as I can. I've got 2 ovens, so there's really not a whatever. So I get like the stuffing and some of the side dishes and everything. It kicks ass, but it takes a long time. Okay, so I'm obviously extremely fatigued. That's item 1. Item 2, I'm on a 325 milligram Norco, which is a heavy-duty pain pill. Those that don't know me, think what you will. Those that know who I am understand that that's the only way I can operate anymore. I've got blown disc, rods in my leg, knee, the whole bit. You guys know it. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just trying to explain. If I nod off in the middle of this, like some hype, if I'm just like, just shake the computer monitor and I'll wake up. So I'm tired. And I got to remember to take the stuffing out at 4:25 a.m. Okay, so and the grand jury came back. We're all watching the riots. We're all pissed off that they call rioters and thugs protesters. You're a protester, which I've worn multiple uniforms for this country and for the police department. I'm retired LAPD, for those that don't know who I am. To protect your right to protest. So protesting, that's awesome. But the minute you stop protesting and start smashing windows, burning cars, and committing felonies, then you're not a protester anymore. You're a criminal. So it drives me crazy listening to these news anchors, and that's one of the reasons I'm making this video, because I listened. Now, I had Fox, of course I watch Fox, but I actually watch everything. I watch, listen to Al Jazeera, BBC, the whole bit. And I just happened to be watching Fox, and I wanted to reach through the TV screen and grab Juan Williams by his cheeks and shake him like shaking baby syndrome. There is nothing. Listening to talking heads describe, and liberals, quite frankly, anyone describe what the police should have done, like some of the options, is enough to drive you to frickin' homicide. That would be like if you can imagine you were a neurosurgeon and a truck driver started arguing with you, telling you what you should have done during the operation. It's like, fuck, are you don't speak the language, man. You can have opinions on shit, but when you're a source for news and you start giving asinine, Juan Williams said, well, the officer could have just jumped in his car and locked the door and waited till backup arrived. He could have drove away. I'm gonna get upset. Mr. Juan Williams, he's a police officer. I don't want my tax money going to cops that are going to run and lock themselves in the fucking police car or drive away. I just don't, you know, that ain't going to happen. By the way, I'm using Movie Maker on my Mac, and I don't think I've ever done that, so I have no clue how this, you know, the quality of the video. What can I say? I do like my voice, though, when I'm tired. Isn't it a little sexy? Don't you think I should be like a DJ or something? Yes, coming on next is a very sweet, smooth dish by Miles Davis, coming at you live. Okay, I'm gonna get into the Ferguson thing a little bit, but I'm gonna start off with another one of my police stories. Okay, the story you're about to hear is true, and the names have been changed to because I can't remember them because I'm old. And I'm going to name this video something that's going to be relevant, something like white cop describes how to kill black or how to shoot black people. You know, I heard what's the guy that got killed, Mike Brown or whatever. Or, you know, okay, his mom's upset. I get it. I mean, who wouldn't be? But, you know, she's sitting next to the race baiters and civil rights people and shit, man. Jesse, or whatever the fuck what's the guy's name, man? Al Sharpton. And she literally said, I'm sure you heard it, that he didn't shoot Mike Brown, was his name, I think. He didn't shoot him because he had to. He wanted to. He wanted to kill somebody. And there are people watching this video right now that actually believe, educated people, by the way, that actually believe that Darren Wilson, or whatever the officer's name is, that he woke up that morning and thought, you know, I'm going to go shoot me a darkie. I mean, you have to laugh, because if you don't laugh, you just got to start crying, because you can't believe that our population is that fucked up. Here's a little story. True story. And this is going to involve a cop, me, and a black man. Now, I was working in the Los Angeles Police Department, and this just happened to be my very first day off of probation, which means I had a year and 1 day on the job, roughly. When I was working in Venice, California. Right on, you know, everybody's familiar with Muscle Beach and all that other shit. And I'll try to make it fast, but there was a transient problem. Meaning that, you know, sometimes over 100 homeless people would camp out on the beach every night and, you know, make their little fires or whatever and sleep there. And on the boardwalk, if you haven't been to Venice, this is, you know, restaurants and souvenir shops, businesses. I'm sorry. I'm going to put my turkey in at like 6 a.m. and then I'll get some sleep. 24 pounds, man. But, so the unit that I was working, because, you know, each unit has a specific area, the designation was, it was actually 14 Adam 1. The area for 14 Adam 1, our unit was the boardwalk, the beach area. So me and my partner, who just happened to be a classmate, and so we were both off of probation that day, we had, you know, the police in those days had a kind of an agreement, an unwritten, unofficial agreement with the homeless people, you know, because it's illegal to camp on the beach in that area. But instead of arresting everybody and being total dicks, we'd let them sleep and do their thing, but they had to be out of there when the sun came up, because tourists come down there to spend money and shit at the restaurants and, you know, whatever, walk around. And, you know, the homeless people can, you know, a lot of them are ex-cons and scary looking, smelly people. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just being straight with you. Don't worry. I'm going to edit that burp. There's a lot of gas today, man. But I'll edit it, don't worry. And when I say I'm going to edit it, it's almost a foregone conclusion I'm not going to. So the way it worked is when the sun started to come up, whoever was working that car, 14A1, would head down to the beach. And usually you just pull up and you turn on the PA system and, hey, you know, hey guys, up, get up, time to go. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Burp. Excuse me. I need a Rolade or something, man. My stomach's really upset. And no, I'm not drunk. I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. Just tired. So that worked. That system worked. You know, cock-a-doodle-doo. Time to get up, get going. You know, these guys would stand up and, you know, motherfuck us and flip us off maybe, but they'd get up and leave. That was it. So, I'm sorry. So on this particular day, you know, me and my buddy, or my partner, were like, hey, well, you know, sun's coming up, man. Let's go roust all the people at the beach. You know, it's our job. So we get out there and we pull up and we do the little thing, and like the police have been doing forever in that area. And 99.9% of everybody starts to get up and get their shit together and starts kind of moving on, you know, northbound across the beach towards Santa Monica. Let them deal with them. I'm just kidding. But everybody but one guy. You know, this guy's like 6'5" or what, some gigantic black dude with a fucking beard down to here. You know, I'm just giving you the visual so you can see this, you know, the way we saw it. And he's laying on his sleeping bag with a magazine. He's reading a magazine, and you know, it's very clear that this guy has a. The fuck just happened to my picture? Hang on. Oh, there you go. So it's very clear that this guy had a, you know, kind of a shitty attitude. His whole body language made it very clear that he ain't going nowhere. So, you know, it's on, hey, you laying down, that means you too. Nothing, no response. You know, don't make us get out of the car, you know, that kind of thing. No response. Everybody else is moving. There must be 50 homeless people moving. And they're all kind of looking back to see what's going to happen. So, you know, new cops, man, brand new. First day off probation. All right, let's get out here and go talk to this guy. Simple thing, right? So we get out and go code 6 at the location, go out to head out to this, talk to this dude. So we let the dispatcher know we were there. And, you know, we walk out there and this guy's huge. You know, he's wearing an army jacket. Now, what we didn't know until later was that this guy had been in prison most of his life, in and out of prison, and he had a rap sheet, you know, a mile long, and just about every one of the charges had to do with assaulting cops. He loved to assault and injure cops. Like many of you, he was a cop hater. So he had just gotten out of prison in Alaska and made his way down here, and that's why nobody knew him on the beach, which will be important as the story progresses. You know, I'm like 20, I guess I'm either 21 or just turned 22. Skinny as fuck. I mean, you know, nothing like what you see here. So we get out there and we walk up, and, you know, very inexperienced, both of us. And, hey man, you can't camp on the beach, man. You gotta get up. Doesn't say a word. Hey man, something wrong with you? Do you hear us? Nothing. But his body language is, you know, he's got a magazine open. He's laying on his back. He's got a pen, like a ballpoint pen, just like this one. And I noticed it in his hand, and then I just forgot all about it. And that's inexperience. You know, those are mistakes you only make once. If you live through them, you know. And he's really gripping this magazine. I mean, you can see the muscles and his veins are pulsating on his head. So you guys, you know, and this is back when PCP was pretty popular. I think it's coming back now. But you know, hey man, you got ID on you? You know, because now it's an event. Now it's like the guy's not fucking leaving, okay, and we're not used to that. We being my partner and I. hey, stand up, man. We need to talk to you, dude, because you're not going to stay on this beach. And all he did was he wouldn't look at us, but he said, I'm not camping. You know, you want to say, okay, well, so you're not roasting fucking wieners at a fucking but you are, you just slept on it. Okay. But you don't. And, I'm going to skip to the end. I mean, basically what happened was at one point, you know, we went back, hey, stand up. The guy ain't going to do it. He ain't doing shit. Nothing. You know. So I take the magazine out of his hand. All right, okay. I swung my metal baton and kicked that fucking magazine right out of his hands. And he was just left laying, you know, still had his fist clenched with no magazine. Very robotic. All indicators are there that this guy is going to go ballistic. Okay, but again, new guys, brand new. This is how you get killed. And, you know, we think, I'll speak for myself, you know, I was still thinking the badge would do all the work for me. Oh, yeah, I got a badge on. He's got to do what the fuck I say. You learn really quick that that ain't how it works. So, what I didn't know was, you know, swinging my baton down and knocking that magazine out of his hand, immediately focus his attention. He had made an internal decision. I'm going to kill that fucker. I mean, this is just the kind of guy we were talking about. I mean, he was pissed at moi. So my partner is like, hey, you know, fuck. We had told him to stand up, you know, 5 or 6. He's just not doing shit. So my partner's like, hey, fuck this, man. And puts his baton away and he bends down and he puts him in a wrist lock, you know, kind of. It's how you like drunk people that won't stand up. You know, you're taught, at least in those days, use a little wrist lock to stand them right the fuck up. And it did, you know, as soon as he did that. And I remember, we're in the sand, we're on the beach. So, what the fuck is up with this damn screen coming and going like that? Alright. Don't write answers. I'm just talking out loud. I don't really give. I don't want to get 25 comments telling me how to fucking keep my screen awake. I'm sorry that I keep burping. Okay, so the guy lets himself get stood up. Okay, the other thing we didn't know was this guy's like a fucking 4th degree black belt in fuck tits woo or whatever the fuck style he was in. This dude was a bad dude. Stronger than a fucking ox. Wearing an army jacket, you couldn't really tell that his fucking muscles were out to here. You know, and I was like a fucking javelin. You know, I think I weighed 20 pounds. I think I hear a burglar in my house. I'm just too tired to deal with it, man. So, I'm down in the basement, in case you're wondering why, you know, I'm hearing shit up above me. So this guy lets himself get stood up, which was interesting. You know, your mind is going a million miles. Now this is important, because remember that we're going to get back to Ferguson. And I hope that liberals and news people and Juan Williams and all these other fuckers somehow see this. I know it's not the most dynamic tape, but fuck you guys, I'm tired. Sorry about my language. I'm a gutter mouth. I'm sorry. Why do I keep apologizing? Okay? I'm sorry I keep apologizing. What? I know. I'm delirious, okay? Mike, you're arguing with yourself. Shut up. I see myself on the computer. Of course I'm arguing with myself. Okay, so you have got to react as a cop in billionths of a second. Okay, this is important. I want, as you're listening to the story, you know, keep in mind what happened in Ferguson. Man, you're just gonna come on here and justify everything that pig did. No, I'm just fucking educating you guys, all right? Because I'm just a lovable guy that cares, and I'm gonna fucking teach you a little bit about police work, and that's why I'm doing this, so that you can be better informed. Okay, before you go spouting off about, you know, what should have happened and should have locked himself in the car. Juan Williams, I swear, man, I'd fucking flick you on the back of your ear if I could. All right, so. Oh, just because he's black? No, it's not because he's black, it's because he's an idiot. He made a stupid statement. So, partner standing him up. Now remember, the bad guy's got his mind set on me because I pissed him off. Everything happened in a split nanosecond, okay? Something happened, martial arty looking. I don't know what the fuck, man. I saw flashes of movement. My mindset was not right. I wasn't in condition red. I was in condition I'm a badass cop with a badge, and I don't, you know, everybody will do what I say. So I was like fucking ignorant, man, to the 10th power. And a foot kicks my partner, and he goes out of the picture and down. You know, ultimately he was down on the ground. But I step in to help. I made a million tactical mistakes that day. Okay, I mean, I used to talk about this story to my new probationers and tell them to count how many mistakes I made as I was telling the story. And I'm skipping some for brevity here. But just about everything I did that day was wrong. And it's just a fucking miracle that I survived. And, yeah. Although there's a lesson on survival in this story if you listen. You'll catch it too. So, I stepped in immediately to engage this guy who's throwing a kick to my partner. Should have stood back and evaluated a little bit, because you don't immediately see I was playing the suspect's game. I did just what he wanted me to do. And when I stepped in, I stepped 1 foot on his sleeping bag. And the next thing I know, because he's facing my partner, remember this guy's a martial arts guy. I'm not a martial arts dude. But he still had that pen in his hand. And wow, boom, and he turns around. Now, ultimately, I learned later by, you know, through watching surveillance videos from San Quentin and other prisons in California. That's a burp gun. Sorry. That hidden videos would show that Jesus. Cut. Okay, take 5. I got some serious gas going. I'm getting giddy. I'm gonna spontaneously combust here. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, I was a pig violating a guy's rights. So, what these guys would do is they would like literally hang, you know, little circles of paper at eye level, and they would practice, you know, being it'd stand like they were getting interrogated by a cop, and put their fingers. Oh, that was weird. Fucking like put their fingers right through the little loop. Right. Well, they were practicing poking cops in the eye. Now, you know, I'm not the idea, and I'm not giving away some big fucking thing here, but I mean, you know, you poke a cop in the eye, and now he can't see. You know? So these were guys that were practicing, okay, and you know, this is for the Juan Williams crowd, man, and the fucking you know, the Al Sharpton, you know, fucking racist cockbiters. You know, this is what cops contend with, all right? Oh, poor bit, you know, it is, man. You know, they got families too, and the idea behind that is to poke them in the eye and take their gun and fucking kill them with their own weapon. You know, one of the things, and I'm going to jump around here because I'm fucked up, but one of the things I haven't heard, and all this conjecture on what shoulda, coulda, and all this other shit about the Ferguson shooting, I haven't heard anybody rattle off the FBI statistics on how many cops are killed each year with their own weapons. I don't even know the number. It's staggering, though, so Google it. Okay, it's not a rare thing. There's many cops pushing up daisies right now that died with their own weapon, okay? So that's something that is always, or should always be, in you know, a cop's thinking. So this bullshit about shooting an unarmed kid, you know, come on, man. I don't buy that crap. Never have. You know, they pump that shit into you guys, you know. The white officers shot the unarmed youth who was merely walking down the street with a cotton candy. No, fucking guy was 6 foot, you know, fucking 10 or whatever the fuck he was, 700 pounds, fucking robbing people, bullying people, and a cop-hating dude. That's just reality, man. Okay? I got people in my family that are complete fuck-ups. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I'm thinking fucking what's-his-face was the same way. You know? I wouldn't be extremely proud watching my son fucking scare the shit out of that store owner. Oh, is that a reason to kill him? If you actually thought that question, get out of my fucking classroom. No, take all your books and get the fuck out of my class. Yeah, close the door. We don't need that guy in here anyways. Okay. So yeah, this dude knocks my partner out of the picture with a kick, and turns around, and he had practiced this, and this ballpoint pen was headed right for this eyeball. Okay, if it wasn't for luck and some quick acting movements, I might have a fucking patch and a fucking parrot on my shoulder and be working at fucking the Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland. You know, I drop my stick, all this happens, I grab his wrist, I turn my face, and the pen caught me right here, and I ended up, you know, having a shitload of, you know, butterfly stitches down the side of my face. It just cut me open down here, because I grabbed his wrist, turned my face, he caught me from the corner, and I went down my face. I still have a scar there, but you can't see it on this fucking monitor. But anyway, we fought and we fought, okay? And the first thing that happened when we went down was my knee on, my leg was on a sleeping bag, and my whole body twisted, and this giant dude, and I knew when I grabbed him that he felt like a fucking crowbar, man. The guy was rock solid. And we fell, and I heard the pop. I tore the meniscus in my left knee. I'm out. And I can't tell you how many surgeries I've had on that leg, on that knee. You know, the left lateral meniscus just was fucking torn to shreds. And I've probably had about 8 surgeries on that knee for that reason. Now I've got 4 screws in the knee. I mean, so we're fighting and we're fighting. And I want you to think about this Ferguson thing. Remember what was happening in the car. I heard the officer say that his hand, you know, the guy was trying to get to his gun, and he felt his, you know, the suspect's hand on top of his. I was just out of the Army, fresh out of the Army. And I was young, and I was just young enough and stupid enough to not be full. I know it's going to sound weird, I'm just being brutally honest here. It's like I wasn't fully aware that fighting was a life and death thing. You know, I had been in a million fights in the Army and everything else. And, you know, either you get your ass kicked or you kick somebody's ass, and you guys go buy each other drinks and you're buddies, yeah? This was the first time that somebody was actually trying to kill me. And at this point in the story, I didn't even realize that yet. I just remember thinking on the way down, you think extremely fast. Everything's in slow motion, so you think in volumes, yeah, not word by word. And as we're falling down, I'm thinking in my own little, you're getting your ass kicked subconscious language, hey, I'm going to end up on the bottom, and he's going to end up on top of me. I haven't searched him yet. You know, I was still thinking, you know, we were supposed to search these guys, you know, suspects. By the way, I didn't know he stabbed me in the face. I was bleeding like I didn't know it. You know, adrenaline. Now we're on the ground, and I'm on the back. I'm on my back, and I got his right wrist in my hand, and I've got one hand into his shirt, his jacket, his army jacket. And so he has got a free left hand. You know, and he punches a few times, and, you know, everything's happening, and I'm thinking, and, you know, his face is like right here, big old bearded guy, look like fucking Sin Q from the SLA, if you guys are old enough to remember that shit. And he's looking at me, man, I'm like a fucking psycho. And he starts yelling, and spit's flying out of his mouth and into mine. And we fell in love. No, I'm just kidding. But, it would have been funny if I just reached up and went, I love you. I wonder what he would have done. But at that moment, this is like the really one of the scariest, top 10 scariest things that's ever happened to me, because it was such a wake-up call. At that moment, I heard the loudest sound I've ever heard in my whole life, including up to and including today. And he goes, well, the loud sound I heard was my holster unsnapping. Now I was carrying a 6-shot Smith & Wesson 4-inch revolver. And when that snap came undone, like pop, everything in my world slowed down to like a half a frame a minute. I mean, it was, almost like a movie, man. I saw my twin boy. I had little baby twin boys. They're almost 30 years old now. And I pictured them in their cribs at home. And then he says, "Now I'm going to kill you, motherfucker." And when he says that, he's dripping spit into my face. And then it slowed down even more, and I thought, it was like I realized, it like hit me like I'm not just getting my ass kicked. This is the internal dialogue. He's going to kill me. It was like, literally, it was like, oh, what was I thinking? It was like, so that's what this was all. And then I pictured the boys growing up without me. Lots of things went through my mind. And as it's going through my mind, I remember, because I had one hand here and my hand here, so I'm holding one of his hands, and I'm thinking, my God, I don't have control of his other hand. No wonder he's got my gun. And I feel the gun coming out of the holster. Now this has to be happening in a fucking picosecond. I mean, it just has to be. But you're so clear. You're so fucking clear. Clear when you're thinking. And just when I thought, oh, this is how I'm going to die. I wonder if it's going to hurt. I'm thinking of he's going to pull it out. And at that distance, you're just doing all kinds of quick math, and you're realizing, in the coming seconds, I'm going to see a flash of light. And then the next thing I'm going to see is either Jesus or the dude with horns, but I'm definitely getting ready to check out here. And then instantaneously, I had a vision of me back in the Army, getting my jump wings out. I'm a former paratrooper. And I hear this voice of, the fucking head motherfucker in charge of jump school at Fort Benning. For the rest of your life, wherever you go, no matter where you are, you will forever be a United States paratrooper. You will not lose. You will not give up. You will not surrender. And I'm hearing all this shit in my head, and then I go from accepting death back into my airborne mentality, which ultimately has saved my life many times, not just physically, but going through fucking lawsuits and divorces and all kinds of shit. That's what I was hoping you get out of this. I mean, you call upon this strength, whatever it is. Mine happens to be a little set of jump wings that they've gotten me through everything. It was my first tattoo, was my jump wings. So I immediately thought, you think you're going to kill me? I mean, I got fucking mad, dude. And it was like the Hulk. Now, around that time, I started hearing a really weird sound. I kept hearing that. And somewhere in my head, I was like, the fuck is that? Excuse me. What I didn't know was a lady in one of the overlooking apartment buildings had dialed 911 and said, because she can't hear, she just sees it. And she says, they've killed one cop and they're killing another one, at Brooks and Oceanfront Walk. Well, when you fucking call something like that in, I mean, there were so many fucking cops even from other agencies. There were people responding that had thought about being cops. I mean, it was the whole fucking department's heading toward that beach because they think a cop is dead and one's dying. And I got this incredible Hulk. You know, you've heard about like mothers that see their kid underneath a car and the mom will pick the car up, you know, some burst of adrenaline. Well, okay, same shit, man. I immediately started to pivot onto my right side and I pinned his. Now, my gun was, by this time, it's halfway out of the holster. All that shit I just told you happened between fully seated and halfway out. That's the fucking speed of the fucking mind. So I pivoted on my side, you know, to pin the weapon in his hand down so he couldn't get the gun out, or at least it would slow him down. And I fucking lifted this guy with his legs and everything. His legs didn't stay down. He lifted straight like he was a fucking 2x4. Wait! Sorry. He didn't weigh more than a half an ounce to me. And I watched his expression go from this to, you know, he could feel my fucking strength, man. And all I kept seeing was them fucking jump wings. And I'm an airborne, you know, Army paratrooper. I ain't this motherfucker ain't go, ah! You know, and I lift this fucking guy off, man, with just unbelievable strength, man. You know. And that's survival, man. So, remember that weird sound I was hearing? Oof, oof. Well, in all of the melee, I had completely forgotten that I was a cop. You know, you're trying to survive. You know, so much is going through your head. And because I'm face to face with Mr. Death, you know, I don't know nothing about anything. I don't know anything about the LAPD. I don't know nothing. I'm just trying to survive. So, did I hear somebody behind me? Fucking ghost in this house. I'm scared. It's the dude. Would it be weird if this fucking big black guy with a beard comes around the corner and says, "Man, I've been looking for you since that beach, motherfucker." So anyways, you know, that noise was, oh, that's right. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of my partner. I wasn't thinking of anything. I was just trying to stay alive. Yeah. Well, all of a sudden, as I get up, I twist over and get up on one knee. I see my partner is wailing on this dude with his baton. You know, we had the PR-24s, metal batons. And, you know, he's trying to help his partner out. He's fucking nailing this dude. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a cop and I'm LAPD and this guy just tried to kill me. And so, you know, I get my gun back under control. And, you know, the fight ended a few minutes later, and without going into it, you can read the book if you want to know the details. I mean, the guy lived. The guy's crippled for life. No, I didn't shoot him, but he got his comeuppance, let me put it to you that way. I mean, my shirt was open, and my t-shirt was all black. I mean, the first sergeant that rolls up, man, not first sergeant as an Army, but the first arriving sergeant, you know, Mike, you're shot. Oh, that was scary, man. I thought somebody from the crowd shot me because he assumed I was shot because there's blood all over. And I go, where? So, no. So, as a side note, had that exact incident happened a year later, I would have shot and killed that fucking guy. For revenge? No. Not for revenge. It would have been totally in policy. It would have been exactly what happened in Ferguson. And now we get to Ferguson. If you're still with me, God bless you, man. It's been a long time. What fucking time is it, man? Because I don't want to burn my stuffing. Hang on a second. 4:25. It's been an hour, man. I need to pause this. Can I pause this? All right. That's the end of part 1. Let me pause this. So I don't know why I even talked to these jerks. Oh, hi. Didn't know we were rolling. Yeah, The stuffing came out really good, man. It's like 4:30 here now. I'm about half dead. All right, quit feeling sorry for yourself. Airborne, suck it up, man. Ferguson. Oh, my phone battery's dying. Okay, so Ferguson. Now this part's going to be an education for you liberal fucks and cop-hating people. I want you to just fucking take notes, because this shit's important. And, you know, if it applies to you, it does. If it doesn't, you know, keep it in mind. This will be stuff you can argue with your liberal family members over Thanksgiving. You know, they say, man, you didn't have to shoot that guy. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a few facts. Is it Darren? Darren Williams? No, I can't remember what his name is. The officer. I'm sorry if you're watching this, dude. Okay, and this is, unless the laws change, this has been standard procedure in, certainly in California law, and I'm going to venture to guess in most states. And I've told you before that the, if I got stuffing falling out of my mouth, I apologize. The standard that courts use, I'm not a lawyer, but I've certainly spent my time in court. In the defendant's seat a couple of times, I might add. But I prevailed. The standard used is you got to remember the word reasonable. What would a reasonable person do in a given set of circumstances? And so we'll take Ferguson. Okay. Any reasonable person who is tasked by way of his or her occupation, who is tasked with enforcing the laws, and who has certain tools available to enforce those laws, weapons. If confronted with somebody bigger, stronger, motivated by anger, oh no, excuse me, motivated, cut, take 6, and action. Motivated by anger, or fear of incarceration, who's hell bent on getting away, or just fucking hates cops, or is hell bent on murder, whatever. Any reasonable person faced with that, who has the means and the authority to use force up to and including deadly force, would be a fucking idiot not to. Now here's what I mean by that. That wasn't as clear as I wanted it to be. What I want you to understand, and now this is not opinion, this is reality here. I've turned into a Buddhist monk. A police officer, and this may apply to other people too, but we're talking about cops, is not expected to be maimed, injured, or killed. That's not part of their job. No matter what your motivation for becoming a cop is, you got a small penis, or you thought that they look cool on the movie, whatever, it's a good way to get chicks, or maybe you actually wanted to help people. It doesn't. That doesn't matter. The police have a task, numerous tasks. One of them being searching out and confronting evil. Now, if that happens to be your son that got killed, of course you're not going to look at him as being evil. I'm sure Adolf Hitler's mother would have thought he was a cute kid too, right? So, I don't like to get caught up in the emotional bullshit that liberals love to fucking include into any argument. They're very emotional people. And that's great for a Jerry Springer show, but it doesn't mean anything when you're trying to stick somewhere in the neighborhood of reality, okay? Like I'm trying to do right now. I mean, if I sat down through Mike Brown's photo album, his mom's photo album, and I looked at all his baby pictures and I listened to stories of how funny he was at the family picnic and remember the time that Aunt Bunny fell down the stairs, Eddie Murphy kind of joke. Yeah, by 15 minutes into that, I'd be sobbing like a baby and I'd build an altar to Mike Brown and get his name tattooed on my arm. Because I'm human. And if you're a decent human, you don't want to fucking see people die. And you certainly don't want to kill people. All right? Don't ever expect anyone that's semi-educated to fucking endorse this sick hypothesis that the Ferguson cop wanted to go out and kill somebody that day. That is inflammatory, manipulative bullshit used by race baiting cock bunnies. The hell is a cock bunny? So, and I'm drifting off of my fucking point, man. Where was I going? A cop is never expected to be hurt, maimed, or killed. That's not part of the job. Okay, so if you're, if I'm a cop and I run into Mother Teresa who's having a bad day and swinging a fucking machete around, I'm the one going home. And if that means Mother Teresa has to get 2 to the chest and 1 to the head, then I'm the dude that fucking shot Mother Teresa. And the world ain't gonna be real fucking friendly toward me. But that's just the way it goes. I'm not expected to be hacked to death by her or anyone else. Mike Brown, God, I hope his last name really is Brown, but if it ain't, you know what I mean, orchestrated the events of that day. And this is all common knowledge. Even the people that are trying to support him know this shit. People are trying to say, what was it, Juan Williams, that has, the robbery at the store has nothing to do with it. Yeah, it sure does have something to do with it. It goes to mindset, he was hell-bent on being an asshole that day, or he wouldn't have fucking went in there and bullied his way out of the store with shit that he stole. Cigarillos. I hate that fucking word. For you mothers you hear all this bullshit, that you would think if you listen to Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or fucking Eric Holder or Obama, you would think that white cops are just slaughtering black youth that are fucking, on the merry-go-round at the local park. Run the numbers on your Google and find out. Let's do this. Have fun with this. In a just pick a fucking span of time, say a year. In the last year, how many white cops have shot and killed black people versus how many black people have shot and killed black people? Fucking off the charts, man. But we don't want to talk about that because that's not emotional, that's factual, and there is no place for reality when you're dealing with liberals or racist or both. And that's the fucking part that just is gut-wrenching and makes me realize that there never will be race relations in this country, and not in my lifetime. These fucking people, man, white and black, that are into that whole race thing, they don't want us to all be Americans. They want us separated. Al Sharpton had made it very clear he was going to protest whether or not the grand jury indicted this officer or not. Of course, he hasn't paid his fucking. Look it up. The motherfucker's a criminal. He hasn't paid his fucking income. He owes millions of dollars to the IRS, so he needs as much money as he can by his donations. And the way to do that is to stay on the TV screen, stirring up the vulnerable, dumb fucks that let themselves be led around by idiots. So, excuse me. a guy is dead now, and and no decent person's happy about that. Although I'm very happy that it was the bad guy and not the officer that got killed. I guess I'm a racist because I believe in that. You know, for you mothers out there that are mothers of black children, I almost hate to say African American because I hate buying into that bullshit. Fuck that. For you black mothers of black children, do your children a favor and teach them a couple of basic survival skills. Don't ever assault police officers. It's a good way to get shot. You see, cops have all kinds of shit on their belt, and none of it is to make you feel good. Some of it is to restrain you, some of it's to make your little eyeballs water, and some of it is to turn your fucking warm body into an ice cube and send your soul on its merry way. So you ought to be spending time, instead of saying that Whitey's out to fucking lynch you, stay away from the pigs, they're gonna kill you. How about following the motherfucking rules? Oh, because you got separate rules for crackers and no, they're all the same. And here's another little fucking chunk of fucking knowledge I'm gonna give to you free of charge. If a cop is working in a housing project or an inner city area, and he's a white cop, anywhere in the country, and he happens to be working in an area where the only white person is him and everyone else is black, I'm no math expert, but I'm willing to wager a fair amount of money that if, God forbid, that officer is forced to take somebody's life, it's going, in all likelihood, to be a black person that he kills. See, there's only black people where he's working. You tracking? You with me? And in case that doesn't resonate with you, we'll give you another example. If I'm a police officer in Chinatown and the day comes where, God forbid, I've got to shoot somebody to save my life or someone else's, guess what ethnic background the person who gets shot is most likely to be? Yes. I crap for you. Most likely. No, most likely. Chinese. You see? Chinatown. For so many Chinese people. No black people in Chinatown. There's no Spanish people in the Chinatown. It's only the Chinese people. So when the pig shooting at the people, him going to shooting the Chinese. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Every fucking thing that happens isn't a racist incident. Al Sharpton, he said today, or yesterday, can you imagine if a black cop had shot down a white... Listen, if a black cop shoots a white person, you're never going to hear about it. It's that simple. Oh, God. Anyways, so I gotta end this thing, man. The officer in Ferguson, Missouri, you know, his life is forever changed. Oh, that's poor baby. Mike Brown lost his life. Okay, well, Mike Brown should have fucking done what he was told. If you don't want to do what you're told when the cops tell you to do shit, bad things will happen to you, man. It's just that fucking simple. Do what you're told, and if you think you were wronged, then take steps to initiate your lawsuit or whatever the fuck it is you're going to do. But the time to have a trial is not at the fucking point of detention. Wow. Now, a lot of people are saying, how come? What? I'm trying to tell you. A lot of people are frustrated that the National Guard wasn't deployed yesterday when all the stores were being burned up and everything. I have a sneaking suspicion. And in a way, at first I was frustrated, and then I thought, you know what? Let them run fucking wild. Let them fuck their city up. Let America see just what the fuck kind of people we're dealing with out there. And then we'll come in and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Because you looting, thuggish cocksuckers that were smashing windows and grabbing shit without any shame, how do you think the good black people in America feel? How ashamed must they be? You know, um, some of us actually want race relations to be, you know, to peak and us all get along. You know, in the words of Rodney King, and just be Americans. And you know, it's an uphill battle. You get a fucking educated black doctor, he's a sellout. You get a well-spoken black person, they want to be white, they're a sellout. But the only real cool black people in the black community are the ones that are coming out of a fucking smashed window holding shoes. Come on, people. How fucking dare you do that? And these are the same motherfuckers, these Ferguson motherfuckers that are out there yelling, hands up, don't shoot. Fraud. That never happened. Those are the same people. Once all this shit dies down, next year they're going to go, you'll hear them, well, you won't because we don't live there, but they'll be telling each other, man, we ain't got no jobs in Ferguson, man. Nobody comes in here to build a business. Well, because you burned the fucking place down, dipshits. Personally, I'm just going to toss this out there as some advice. If you are thinking of opening a small business, stay the fuck out of Ferguson. You see what kind of people are there. They used to be able to walk down the street and go to the fucking store or go to the goddamn beauty supply place. Now, they can't. Oh, that's right, we burned the motherfucker down. And by the way, you little looting bastards, you didn't teach anybody a lesson. Every fucking cop that works in Ferguson, do you think they live in Ferguson? Do you think that you burned down their beauty supply shop? I'm talking to rocks. If any of you are the looters, you're not capable of understanding me. So, on that note, I'm going to wish, again, everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I mean this in all sincerity. I'm sorry that the parents of Mike Brown lost their son, but I'm happy that the officer came out ahead and survived. Everybody's talking about how cold he was on the interview. Well, I guess, you know, if he was crying and sobbing, you would say how fake he was. So you just can't make motherfucking people happy, man. So, shame on Obama for sticking his nose into this shit and doesn't give a fuck about all the people that die in Chicago every goddamn week. Shame on fucking Eric Holder. He's running a parallel investigation. Get your fucking dick out of that fucking case. Alright, it's a local matter, and you are not going to prove civil rights violations. There's no way that could even rise to a quarter of the level that's required. So you're just doing it for fucking to appease your voting base. You know, you're misleading the fucking ignorant black voters in that area. They're going to be like, yeah, well, Eric Holder, he's going to put that motherfucking cop in jail. Oh, and while I'm on the subject, the fucking New York Times, I think, that put out that officer's home address. Anything happens to that fucking guy or his family or his hamster or his parakeet, that blood is on your hands. You stupid fucks. And I'm suggesting that somebody out there that has some skills come up with the person who wrote that article, come up with their home address and start pumping that motherfucker out all over the internet. It's only fair. So, that's it. Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. LMS Tactical. I'm out of here.